Yo, what's good, guys? It's Andrew from travelingguitarist.com. Uh, Good morning. I'm up kind of early today. Today I'm going to talk to you about whether or not guitar solos are dead. I noticed that this is actually something that a lot of people like to search. Um, this is one of those things that, I don't really spend too much time thinking about it just because it's kind of like, it doesn't really matter what you're into. There's always a subculture or a market for something and within certain areas of the culture, the general culture. With that said, though, in terms of popular music, in terms of mainstream music, I mean, I would just say that without a doubt, guitar solos are not nearly as popular as they used to be. And I read this article from the Rolling Stone, and they said that they said, back in the day, for instance, even in the 1980s, like guitar solos were, they kind of lended credence to many songs. For instance, everyone remembers the song "Beat It" by Michael Jackson, and that song used Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen, I can't say his name today. Eddie Van Halen. He played the guitar solo in that song, and I mean that's probably one of the greatest solos of all time. It's really dope. Goes with the song well. But so yeah, I would say that if we're gonna talk about the mainstream music scene, we're gonna talk about the mainstream top 40 music scene. There's just no question that guitar solos aren't popular like they once were. And compared to the 80s when every song had a guitar solo, I mean, that time is just over. You know what I mean? That those days are over. However, in the underground music scene, especially in metal and, instrumental music and, you know, fusion and stuff, I mean, guitar solos are alive and well. In fact, I think some of the best guitar players and some of the most innovative guitar players alive right now are still like relatively young guys. Like Guthrie Govan, Emil Wursler, Andy James, Frank Gambell is a little bit older. Brett Garsed, these guys were more like the '90s, but Tosin Abazi. I mean, there's so many great players right now that are still coming up with awesome stuff. Even Misha Mansour, like some of his solos on the last two Periphery albums are dope. And I don't know, man. Like I think, despite the fact that they're maybe not as popular as they once were in the mainstream, I think some of the best stuff ever written is coming out now. So I mean, like frankly, I don't really concern myself about whether or not something is popular in the mainstream. Like I still love guitar solos. I think they're awesome. And there's definitely still a lot of people who like them as well. And I think they're sick, dude. Even someone like Polini, I was been listening to him a lot lately, and he has a solo in the song called "Away," and it's probably one of the best solos I've heard in a long time. It's really sick, and yeah. So I mean, yeah, like in the mainstream, yeah, it's not popular anymore. But I mean, there's still subgenres where, like metal and stuff, where it's still super popular, and yeah, like I think a lot of the really really good guitar players right now are still doing their thing, and I think the best ones alive, or rather the best ones who have ever existed, are doing their thing now. Like it's not even a thing of the past. Like if you go back and listen to guitar solos from the '80s, like the kind of stuff that people were doing in the '80s, that's like nothing in comparison to what people are doing now. You know what I mean? Like if you listen to a player like Guthrie Govan, in comparison to like who's an '80s guitar player like Slash, like dude, Slash. I mean, don't get me wrong, Slash is cool. He wrote some awesome melodies, but in comparison to what people like Tosin Abazi are doing right now in 2019, like dude, guitar playing has gotten a lot more sophisticated and like a lot cooler and a lot more melodic, way more interesting. I mean, like even listening to the solo from Amo Wursler and Wilting on the Vine, that shit, man. I mean, that's awesome. Like it's probably one of the best solos of the last like 15 years. And I really like the way that they're kind of looking to jazz for inspiration now, rather than blues. I'm kind of glad that we're abandoning blues. I think it's gotten tired, man. Like I don't know if I want to hear a pentatonic scale ever again, with some exceptions. I mean, Guthrie Govan does it pretty dope, but yeah, I really enjoy the influence of jazz right now in guitar related or guitar focused music, whatever you want to call it. So I mean, yeah, in conclusion, yeah, they're not mainstream, but I think some of the best stuff ever written is being written now and in the last decade. So, you know, maybe I just say don't really concern yourself with what's going on in the mainstream, Just do your thing. Maybe one day it'll become popular again. Either way, I don't really care. I don't care if it's popular again or not. But anyway, yeah, that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.